100 Grey Cups. The anniversary of our big game is being celebrated this year with pomp and circumstance and reverence. But history isn't drawn in straight lines. And when it comes to the Grey Cup, the real unauthorized story is a whole lot better than the sanitized version. It's quirky, it's full of oddball detours. A couple of times, it nearly ground to a screeching halt. And let's start right at the beginning. Unlike the Super Bowl, the Grey Cup wasn't cooked up in some boardroom. It's not a marketing concept. In 1909, Earl Grey, Canada's Governor General,
Anyone for a spot of tea?
following the footsteps of his predecessor, Lord Stanley, decided that he wanted to donate a trophy in his name. For hockey. Amateur hockey. The Stanley Cup was already going to the pros. Problem was, Sir Montague Allen had the same idea at almost exactly the same time and beat Grey to the punch. Thus, the Allen Cup was born. So what to do with Lord Grey's $48 silver cup? How about football? In those days, really rugby or something pretty close to it. There's no evidence that Earl Grey had any passion for the game, or even that he ever saw it played, at least in Canada. But football it was, by default. And then there was the awkward business of having to ask the Governor-General twice to pay the bill. For years, when Western teams traveled to challenge for the Grey Cup, they were beaten mercilessly by the rich fat cats from the East. Then in 1935, the Winnipeg team, tired of being kicked in the teeth, invested serious money in some top-flight American players. Most famous among them, the great Fritzie Hansen. They shocked the wildly overconfident Hamilton Tigers, winning the first Grey Cup for Western Canada. The Eastern football powers offered their sincere congratulations, and then immediately changed the rules to try to make sure it would never happen again. Consider that the birth of Western alienation. Soon enough, the West made its most lasting contribution, inventing most of what we now think of as the Grey Cup Festival. In 1948, fans from Calgary arrived in staid, uptight Toronto and turned what had been just a football game into a crazy, drunken party. Though the part about the horse in the Royal York Hotel lobby, well, that may be a myth. The trophy itself has been beaten up, broken, misplaced, stolen. It's had a plaque attached for a team that didn't win it. It's been awarded after mud bowls, fog bowls, wind bowls, ice bowls. It's been contested in full stadiums with what felt like the whole country watching. And it's been played at times when it seemed like no one really cared, when the ancient game looked to be approaching extinction. That last part is where American expansion comes in. Want to start an argument? Wander into the Spirit of Edmonton Room or Ryderville this year and declare that the best Canadian football team of all time came from Baltimore and didn't have a single Canadian on its roster. Truth is, you might be right. The Stallions are but a memory now, along with the Gold Miners, the Barracudas, the Mad Dogs, and all the rest. But the old Silver Monk survives. Here we are, back in the Big Smoke, not so far from the place where the University of Toronto beat Parkdale in that very first Grey Cup game. The Varsity Blues won a trophy they didn't even know existed, and which they wouldn't claim until the following spring. And from those murky, idiosyncratic origins, a great, original, wholly Canadian tradition was born. Let's lift our cups now, just as the latest bunch of triumphant football players will grab those worn handles and pour back a celebratory drink. Warts and all, it's ours, and it's us. And sometimes, in the right light, those little flaws can look like beauty marks.